Guys, I'm so fucking excited for this episode today. You don't even know. First of all, welcome back to another episode of the Audacity Academy. If you don't know, you do now. I am your host, Sarah Falciani, and I am here with an absolute fire guest. We have been like counting down the seconds till we could have this conversation. She is such a queen. We've been connected through Instagram. I don't even know how we connected through Instagram, but we've been connected for quite some time, following each other's work, supporting each other. This is an absolute badass, and I cannot wait until she shares her story with you. She is a self-love coach specializing in divorce and self-worth workshops. She is the queen up in Canada, and we're hoping to maybe possibly meet in Vegas sometime soon.
Yes.
I would like to introduce you to Kelley Caballero, everyone.
Hello, everybody.
Kelley, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast today.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
I'm excited too. I can't wait to chat with you. Like, the vibes are going to be so good. I feel like we would be almost sitting at a table in Vegas already with a cocktail, and like our audience is just listening in on this conversation. Like, those are the vibes I'm feeling.
100%. I feel like we're like long distance secret besties.
Yes, yes, we are long distance secret besties. Not so secret anymore now that we've published.
Not anymore.
The cat's out of the bag, guys. This is my long distance bestie.
That's it. It's me. No competition. That's it.
No, that's it. All of my other friends are going to have to get in line.
I love it.
Oh, okay, Kelley. Tell us a little bit of your background, your story. What makes you you? What brings you to where you are today in your life?
Might need a little bit longer than 45 minutes, honey. No, I'm kidding.
I'm okay with that. I've had episodes go over an hour.
Oh, Lord. Okay, well, I'm from Canada, obviously. I'm about, if you guys are familiar with Toronto, about 5 hours-ish, depending on how fast you drive, outside of Toronto. I worked as a hairstylist for like 15 years. And as you know, comes with the territory as a hairstylist, you end up kind of being a therapist. So here goes my interesting journey into wanting to become a life coach. I went through a nasty divorce in 2014. And that knocked me on my ass really, really badly. But bad bitches don't fall for too long. You know, we get up quick.
Hell yeah.
So I started my company, which is Pretty Legends. And from there, I got my certification in life coaching, and I've taken on clients now, and I love it. It's basically just empowering women. And I started all of it because I didn't want women to be alone and without guidance. And, you know, there's times we lose ourselves so heavily in relationships or in jobs or whatever. And I didn't want that to be a factor for anyone. And when I was going through my time, I felt alone. So here we are, fast forward, and it's like 7 years, 8 years. Oh my gosh, time has flown, but I wrote a book.
Yay!
I haven't released it yet, though. I'm having some, like, I don't know, I'm scared because it's very, it's just a lot of personal information in there. So I've been holding off. But yeah, that's pretty much my story. So I spend my days being an annoying, positive person, and it's how I am, and I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way.
Oh, it's the dream job. It's the dream job. It really is. You get to channel everything you've been through and spin it around, learn from it, and then guide other people who, you know, be the person that you wish you had had when you were going through that.
That's it. And I had a good support system at the time, but like, I felt like I couldn't relate to anyone. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can't relate to someone who isn't going through a divorce when you're going through a divorce, right? So all of my friends are like happily married or in these relationships. And I'm like, fuck, like I'm sitting here and I'm going through this nasty, messy divorce. I'm working 2 jobs. I've got a baby, a toddler, and I'm going to school, and I'm drowning in my responsibilities. But it's like, I just picked up that crown, you know, and we're good.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy though.
What was the toughest part of your divorce?
Oh, all of it. I think it was coming to the realization that I had nothing. Like, he was military. I followed him around everywhere. I was married 6.5 years. I had nothing when I left. I left with my clothes. He had all the furniture, the car, he kept everything. And I left with nothing. And I was like, this is fucked up. Like, I remember borrowing my sister's car And I don't know if you guys know anything about Canadian winters, but it's fucking cold. Okay. What's your zero degrees? I think is what, 32 degrees Fahrenheit. So picture it like maybe 15 degrees Fahrenheit.
No.
If that's a thing. Yeah, it's like
I live in
freezing.
Texas for a reason. I like the heat. If it
That's
gets
it.
below 40 outside, I'm like that below 40 degrees Fahrenheit outside, and I'm like,
I'm making my way. I'm making my way. But that was when I realized, like, holy shit, you know, because I had never been in a position ever in my life. Like, from my jobs when I was younger, I always had money. I always made a good life for myself. And then I was like back at my parents' house, like with these 2 kids, 2 jobs. Like I think that was the hardest part, was just realizing like, okay, holy shit, you know, I need to figure this out. It was hard.
How did you finally figure it out?
I don't know. I have no secret sauce, girl. Honestly,
up as you go along. That's all I know.
I would say honestly I'm going to say therapy. And I started going to see a therapist, and she was, oh God, like the people I refer to her, she was great. And she helped me just realize my self-worth, because while I think I was technically working hard, I had no value for myself. And well, there we go, right? And without that value, I wouldn't be where I am today. And although I'm still very far from where I want to be, I know I'm on that right path, because I know my value and I know my worth, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that was the game changer for me. It was like, holy shit, like I'd look in the mirror, I didn't like who I was looking at. I didn't, you know, I've always struggled with my weight since I was married. And I think it was because I was never living for me. And now you catch me in the gym 2 hours a day, I'm gone. Like, don't talk to me. I'm working out because I'm choosing me, right?
Yeah.
So that's where it is for me, I think.
Yeah. I mean, hard work for the sake of hard work is just like spinning your wheels I think you can be addicted to work like you can be addicted to food or alcohol or anything else to kind of numb out looking at the hard truth, which is, I don't know who I am. I don't know what I want. I don't know what my worth is in life. So I'm just going to fill up my day with work and work and work and work, you know, because it makes me kind of feel better about myself, because at least I'm paying the bills. But if there's no purpose behind that work, if there's no self-worth and love and passion and fire behind that work, it's just another addiction, just like anything else.
Well, that's it. And I think people are I always end up back having this conversation in interviews. It's so funny, because I think that the way that the generations are now and how we're also, you know, we're stuck to our phones and social media and this and that, it's such instant gratification that it becomes surface level shit. That's all we're dealing with every single day. Mm-hmm. When you're being stuck with this surface shit, you're not doing the inner work. You know, it's a lot. Like, so I just launched my first seminar event, right?
Congratulations.
Thanks. It was amazing. But part of my conversation to the women that were there was, you can never get anywhere in life if you don't sit in your pile of shit. And if you can't smell that shit, you haven't sat long enough. Mm-hmm. You need to sit in the shit, literally, neck deep in your own stinky ass shit. And you got to deal with it until it's all cleaned up. When it's cleaned up, you can get out of the hole.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the inner shit.
It's the nasty stuff. It's the things you don't want to look at. People will I get a reaction sometimes when I say this, but then when I explain myself a little bit more, they're like, oh, okay. But everyone's compulsion to want to be like, oh, don't talk about yourself that way comes in. I'll be the first to admit that I have been a toxic piece of shit in my life. Like, I really have. But I am one of the most toxic, manipulative people that I know. And I know that, like, I know my codependency. I know my manipulation tactics. I know how I can project. I know that I'm prone to filling up my life with things to numb me out so I don't look at the nasty shit. I know the relationship bridges I've burned. I know all of that. And because I know all of that, there's very little that anybody else can say to me that's actually going to bother me.
That part.
Yeah, like, what are you gonna say? Oh,
you can't say shit.
So and so. I know, and look what I've done with it. I've looked at that. I've worked through that in therapy. I've turned that around and made it a part of my story. And very few people, you know, in order to work with people to help them through their shit, you have to have sat in your own shit first.
Oh, for sure. You can't be helping people and, you know, you're still checking out 3 past ex-boyfriends and what they're doing and all this toxic shit and fake accounts here and this and like, oh man, sometimes like I've had to cut out a few people. Listen. Oh man. You know, I laugh because, you know, I've had to cut out a lot of people. And I recently had a conversation with my mom and she's like, why would you cut out all of these people? And, you know, like, aren't you lonely? And I was like, man, listen, at the top, I'm going to be surrounded by fake people, right? It is what it is. You, when you have money and you have abundance, you attract all the little fucking leeches, right? It's what happens. But even at my worst, I've got the leeches. It doesn't matter because they're emotional leeches. So if I'm going to be fucking alone, I would just rather be alone. You know, I'm not having people pulling me down or weighing me down or having an opinion about this or trying to sidetrack me. Like I had girlfriends of mine that, you know, they know I'm trying to do my gym stuff, showing up with like KFC or McDonald's. And I'm like, man, like I can't be doing that. And I know it's a choice again, but it's like, I'm an empath and I'm not sure if you can resonate with this, but like as an empath, you feel, like you feel so much for other people. And like, I would have times where like girlfriends would show up in my house and they're so upset or this, and it's like, I'm just feeling it. So now I'm emotional eating with them or I'm doing this or I'm doing that. And it's like, man,
I feel your pain. I'm getting in the box with you because I can't figure out how to not go in the box with you. I can't tell you how many times I've been there.
But it, you know, when it's like you get to a point and you're like, fuck this. Like, I don't want any of you people around me. I want to live in my truth. I'm not trying to live through your bullshit. Like you still haven't figured out your life. Like I figured out my life. I know my goals. I know where I want to go. Right.
Absolutely. So, I mean, this is a people pleasing and boundaries podcast. So naturally we're just segueing right into that. So when people show up in your life and they either want to distract you from your goals or try to get you to get in the box with them and like join them in their shit basically and all that, how did you learn how to finally start recognizing that that's a no-no for you? Like that's beneath you, that's beyond, that's substandard, that's something you're not available for anymore. And how did you start implementing boundaries?
I think for me, it was learning the value of the word no. And I think by doing that for myself. So what I mean by the value of the word no is, you know, for a time that I'm sitting on my own. So I worry about me first before I worry about anybody else, because if I'm not okay, no one else is going to be good. So I sit here and I'm like, oh, let's say I want to order McDonald's. We got Uber Eats on go. And I'm just like, no. I tell myself no. Or I'm not going to the gym today. I look myself in the mirror. No, get your ass to the fucking gym. Or I don't want to finish writing my novel today. No, there's value in saying no. And it sounds crazy, but there's so much value in the word no.
No,
and when you learn
sentence too, not no, but just no period.
No period. You know,
yes.
Period. When you learn that, it doesn't, like, you won't have an issue. If you can say it to yourself, and a lot of people have trouble saying no to themselves, right? We cave into our stupid habits and all this other dumb shit we do. When you can say no to yourself and you stick to that, I swear, and this is for the listeners, because man, I'm telling you, the first time you say no and you actually stick to it, game changer. It's a game changer.
It boosts your confidence.
That's it. And then you trust in yourself and you're like, man, there's value in I have value, you know, I respect my goals. I respect my intuitions. Like there's so many different things that there's value that comes with the word no. Right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. In my boundaries course that I'm teaching right now and in the book that I'm writing, everybody wants to jump in. Oh, we're learning boundaries. We're going to tell people to fuck off. I'm so excited. And I'm like, yes, that's a part of it, but that's like 6 modules in. First and foremost, we have to learn how to set boundaries with ourselves. We have to work on our relationship with ourselves. If you can't self-regulate and self-manage, say yes, say no, say maybe, set boundaries with yourself and your own shit. you're not going to have a leg to stand on to be able to do it to other people.
Facts.
You know? And if you can get to the point where you're saying no to yourself when you have food cravings or when you're, not wanting to go to the gym, if you can do that, oh my God, if somebody else, bitch, I said no to myself. You think I'm going to say yes to you? Like,
you ain't telling me shit. I love it.
Absolutely.
So important.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's really important. And I think that was for sure, like, most important thing for me.
Was learning how to self-regulate.
Yeah. It was not easy. And I think, oops, sorry, I'm throwing stuff around here. I think that it boils down to discipline. And to this day, I still work on my discipline because I'm a single mom. So it's like remembering that I have to discipline myself to give myself time. Right. I have 2 kids. I have 3 dogs. It's insanity in my house. But it's part of that is also, it's the discipline. Right. Mm-hmm. But I think what you offer is so amazing. I love that. I was like, I was reading up on you a few times. This was a while ago too. And I was just like, I love this. Like, I just fuck with you so hard, man. Like,
yes.
I love it. I love it though, because it's really hard. And I think you could probably attest to this too, is like women who are speakers or who are coaches. To me, it's either fitness or business. They're hand in hand, right? There's not many for like emotional wellness, boundaries, or like for my instances, sorry, like divorce or finding yourself after things like that. Like, I think they're just our little niche that we have is so important. And I think it's also, after this COVID bullshit, is going to blow the fuck up.
Absolutely. There is no doubt in my mind. People have been telling me for years and years and years, people who know really well. They're like, boundaries is your thing. Boundaries is your thing. Like every single, like boundaries is just your thing. And I was like, no, it's whatever. So I worked in business. I worked with burnout. I worked with different and then I realized, well, I'm still doing the boundaries work no matter what I'm doing. So why don't I just follow the universe's call and just do boundaries, relationships, self-worth. It's so important because you can't show up in business if you don't have this foundation. You can't be successful with your fitness if you don't have this foundation. Like, it starts with self. It starts with your relationship with you. It starts with your ability to self-regulate, manage your schedule, set boundaries with other people, set boundaries with your money. It's just the foundation of everything. Like, if you're like new to if you want to hire a business coach, wonderful, or a consultant or whatever, wonderful, but don't forget that you have to be working on your identity stuff too. It's okay to have multiple coaches. It's okay to work with multiple professionals who specialize in things. That
part. Everyone thinks it's like one person for everything, or like, oh, your fitness coach is going to be your No. Your fitness coach is your fitness. They'll get on you for your discipline, your meal prep, and all those things. Okay, cool. But if they haven't gone through, and like for me, another huge thing with life coaches, because everyone can be a life coach these days, right? Like, you know how it is on Instagram. So it's like, if you haven't gone through the shit, you have no business being a life coach. You have no business offering anyone opinions, advice, none of it, because you haven't been through anything, number one, to give yourself the expertise and even like the way to think, to process things that are going on with somebody else, So yeah.
I mean, there's skills that you learn. It's learning how to not get in the box with people. It's learning how to not take things personally. It's learning how to ask the right questions. It's learning that coaching is not about giving advice. And it's learning all of these like active listening skills. There's so much in there to learn. There's so much value in allowing yourself to be led, humbling yourself first and foremost, and going, maybe I should seek guidance and learn how to do this properly so I can be the best that I can possibly be for my clients, for the people I want to serve. And it's humbling. I mean, it is. It's a slice of humble pie. I think I know everything. I think I'm the queen of the world. I'll be, again, toxic shit. I'll be the first to admit it. You can't tell me shit. But I knew when I was personal training, I was like, there's a mental component here. When I was starting to kind of get into the coaching space in like 2017, 2016, 17, 18, I was like, there's a component here. Like I can work with people, but I recognized my limitations and I knew there was just a part of me that was just like, you need to learn more. You need to devote time, energy, and invest in your own knowledge and expansion so that you can properly be. And that's when I got my master's in psychology and I got trained and certified as a coach. And it took time. I mean, the whole thing took me like 2.5, 3 years to get all that stuff done, but it's so fucking worth it. And I'm getting ready to go back and do another master's degree because I'm not done yet. No, you're never done.
No, I was going to say,
the day you go, I'm done learning, I'm done expanding, I'm done working on myself, is the day you might as well just give up because your life's over at that point.
Well, that's it. I think there's always room to grow. And it's like, you know, I did hair for a long time and it got to a point where that's where I kind of was. And I was like, man, it has nothing to do with my work ethic. I know that, but I was like, this is not what I want to do. Whereas of now where I am with life coaching, it's like, I just did psychology. Now I'm on to like so many other things, you know, I'm just always trying to learn and to better my knowledge and my skills to help people.
Absolutely.
My goal at the end of the day, I want to be better so that I can help the next woman be, you know, 5% better than she was yesterday, or as we like to say, 1% better every day.
I put that in my story today and you saw 1% better.
You like that little slick shout out, huh?
I love that. I appreciate the love. I was like, wait, that sounds familiar. Didn't I just say that this morning?
I had to throw that in somewhere today.
I love it so much. So have you had to deal with along your journey in your relationship? I do want to ask you a little bit more about your relationship, but in the divorce and since then, as you've been on this journey of becoming who you are now, have you had to deal with people trying to guilt trip you into doing what they wanted you to do?
Girl!
I knew it.
Glad you're sitting down. So when I divorced my ex, we were like not on speaking terms. It was very messy. And going through that, and this is where my story gets fun. So when I was in that very vulnerable state, I met my ex-boyfriend who came along as Mr. Wonderful and was love bombing me. And he was just so great. Well, what do you think he turned into? A big fucking narcissist. Okay.
Narcissist.
So I would continue to be in that relationship for, 6 years. I don't know why I stayed in it that long, but, here we are. And
I was with my narcissist for 6 years as well. That's just there's a cycle that once they suck you in, time flies when you're miserable.
Yeah, he was a lot. So he would always try and guilt trip me. I would get attacked if stop trying to get too muscly, because I hang around bodybuilders, right? So like I'm the girl that's lifting like crazy in the gym. Like I love it, But yeah, so he would be like, don't get too big, or don't do this, or, you've seen the photos on my Instagram. He would basically like guilt trip me into thinking that I'm this whore. And I was like, sir, you've got me fucked up. I've got clothes on. You want to fuck around? I'll drop an OnlyFans real quick.
You would kill an OnlyFans, by the way. I think about that every day. I'm like, I saw this meme once where it was just like, what are people who don't have OnlyFans doing? And it's like trying to figure out how we can do OnlyFans without the world knowing that it's us. So true.
I've thought about it. I was like, how can I do it? And I was like, fuck all my tattoos.
All my tattoos, there's no
I'm covered. Like I'm literally covered everywhere. Like there's no, I can't do it. But yeah, he was quite, how do I say this? Like, I've forgiven him for everything. And I truly wish him the best, because I'm not that petty bitch anymore. I don't have it in me. It's the negativity I don't want. But he made life so difficult, because it was, you were constantly walking on eggshells, and anything that I wanted to do, it was, oh, why are you doing that? It was just always that negative energy just coming and hitting me like in the back of the head. And he was exhausting. But it's crazy to say now because I never wish a narcissist on anyone, because I'm lucky enough that I'm strong enough that I got out. But I'm thankful, because had I not been through that shit, I wouldn't be the coach that I am today for my clients. I wouldn't be the person I am today for the people in my life. So, I'll give him that 2 seconds of thanks, asshole.
There was a part of me that wanted to devote like my memoir, I'm going to call it. It seemed like a good idea at the time. And there was a part of me that wants to like dedicate it to him. But then I was just like, you know what? That would just make his narcissistic heart happy.
Fuck that. They want to be admired. This is what narcissists,
I'm not going to do it.
Live, right?
I'm not going to thank him. I thank myself. We owe it to ourselves.
Damn straight. We're strong as women.
That's who we thank. I'm not the person that I am today because of him. We're the people that we are today because of ourselves and our own tenacity. We had the audacity to stand up and say, don't treat me like that. You're not gonna.
The Audacity Academy.
Yeah, Audacity Academy. That's what we're here to talk about. We walked away. We did the work. We sat in our own shit, and now
that's it.
Here it is. It was interesting that you brought up like that negative energy. You don't like to let it sit around. I've noticed as I've gotten better with my energetic boundaries, if my other best friend calls me and we sit, don't get jealous. And
whatever, bitch.
And we'll like, if we sit and have a night, like I used to live every day where I would talk to my girlfriends and it would just be like negative, right? Now, when I do that, if I even say like one petty thing or one like catabolic thing, I will feel physically ill for like the next 24 hours, and I'll have to sage the shit out of myself and like pull it all out and like flick it away. And I'll text her and be like, I need to like cleanse. We're not doing that again. And we've gotten to the point now where if we have to express the negativity, because feeling negativity and expressing negativity is healthy.
I was going to say,
we do it now. I try to do it in a productive manner. Instead of just sitting there, I'll go, this is what I'm feeling today. And I want to acknowledge that I'm having an off day and this negative energy is kind of cooking in here, but how can I move this in a productive direction? It's more processing versus sitting. Have you had an experience with that? Like learning how to do that?
Yes, I have. Yes, ma'am.
She laughs in a similar
I laugh when I think of, so you'll catch me laughing at certain things sometimes. And I think I laugh because it brings me back to these certain moments where I have had, it's like where you're around certain friends and like, so I'm, as you can see, I don't even drink coffee because if I drank coffee, I'd be a psychopath. Like this is me.
You don't drink coffee? Oh my God.
It's not coffee, it's water. So I'm just very upbeat. I'm very positive. I'm always like, everyone is like, how are you this person? I don't know. It's who I am. I don't know. I just go that way anyways. So when I'm up here and then I've got like a couple of my girlfriends, oh, hey, they're coming over and they come up and they show up here. Well, now I'm like, oh, fuck. And it's just like lower and lower and lower and lower and lower. And it's just like, I have no energy to even have negative energy, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Like my energy is straight for positivity. Like I'm not sitting here saying that if you're going to be my friend, we need to sit and talk about our goals and dreams 24/7. I get it. We're going to vent. We're going to do those things. But like when you have people that are coming over and it's all they're doing is complaining or talking about other people, that's a huge red flag for me, is talking about other people. I'm red flag. No, I just cut someone off for that. Mm-hmm. Literally. Because all I was doing was sitting there talking and all she wanted to do was talk shit about other people. It's not me. Mm-hmm. I've never been that person. So like, I just can't do it. But what I've learned with myself is setting that boundary, where is if someone's calling me, I'll weigh out the energy over the phone, right? So like, oh, you want to come over? Okay, so like, what's the plan? Like, it's not like, oh, I want to come over and hang out. It's like, okay, well, what are we going to do? What's the plan? Because if they're like, oh, I'm just so pissed off and nah, 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 I was like, okay, well, let me know what you're pissed off about. But like, you can't come over here with that shitty ass energy. Because now you're bringing it in my house. My kids are going to feel it. I'm going to feel it. My animals are going to feel it. Like, I want nothing to do with it. You know? And so I think it's, again, the big B words, boundaries, man. Like, you just have to, I've just set boundaries for that. I refuse to have people drag me down. And it's not to say you can't have a fucking bad day. Everybody has bad days. I had a bad day 2 days ago. I was fucking crying for nothing, literally. Just one of those things. I still have it. We're human, you know? Mm-hmm. And it's setting boundaries for me. It's a huge.
So what would you say to someone listening right now who is like, oh my God, that resonated with me. I do feel like I'll be having the best day, but then someone comes over or I pick up the phone and then I can feel them sucking my energy. Obviously the answer is boundaries, but can you give like a specific tip on where they can start setting that boundary in those scenarios?
Immediately remove yourself. Immediately. Don't worry about hurting other people's feelings, because in the old saying, it's easier to ask for forgiveness than to ask for permission, right? So for me, it's like, oh, I gotta go. Like, if you need to lie to get off the phone, I don't ever condone lying, just an FYI, especially if there are any male listeners, don't fuck around. But I'm on the phone, hey, this girl's driving me nuts, and I'm sitting here like, oh my God. I'm just gonna be like, I gotta go. I'm hanging up. Remove yourself. You don't owe anybody anything. You owe yourself everything. So to me, if you resonate with that, and boundaries, yes, boundaries are extremely helpful and they are the best way to honor yourself and your value. However, you don't owe anyone shit. So if you are uncomfortable, you feel your energy is being dragged down, you just don't want to have that negative dark cloud, remove yourself. Mm-hmm. My mom's calling, bam. Like, some people you don't want to be like, and I understand because some people are more sensitive. So you don't want to be like, listen, girl, your energy is fucking with me right now. Like, I can't do this. Some people would take that really bad, right? And again, we don't owe people shit, but in some cases where you know that, I would just be like, my mom's calling, I gotta go. Or a job interview is calling, I gotta go. If it's super late at night, be like, girl, I'm falling asleep. I have no mental capacity for this right now. I gotta go. But for the most part.
You said my favorite word, capacity.
It's well, that's it, right? Mm-hmm. If you don't have the mental capacity, just remove yourself. I do it all the time. Yeah. I'm literally like, oh no, sorry, I gotta go. I'll call you later. Mm-hmm. Like, I can't do it.
You can also just not pick up the phone at first. You can say you're busy. What do you need to talk about? I'll call you back when I can. Like, if you
also that.
Mm-hmm. If you even suspect, just don't pick up the phone. You do not have to pick up the phone every time.
Well, and that's also a thing. And that's, again, back to the social media and the instant gratification. Well, when we have cell phones, now it's like we're expected, because we carry this phone around with us all the time, that we're supposed to answer all the time. But you do not. You don't need to. It boils down to my previous statement. You don't owe anyone shit. You don't want to answer.
Not entitled to your time. You are also not entitled to other people's time, and that's something that entitlement thing. Ooh, it's a whole different podcast episode. Talking to people and their entitlement. Oh my God, no. But again, I can say that, and I can say that with a clear conscience, because I myself have been codependent and have acted extremely entitled to other people's time. So I get it. When I first, someone didn't pick up, and I had to actually briefly, so I dated someone for 4 months last year, and I was like, the first date, and I don't know if he'll ever listen to these, so I won't even worry about it. But the first date I met him, I was like, that's my man. Like, I'm going to spend the rest of my life with this motherfucker, right? And then we spent 4 months together, but I had never had a healthy relationship ever in my life. I had been single for 3 years. I would have known a healthy relationship if it smacked me upside the head. So it triggered all of my codependency patterns, my anxious attachment style, all of these things. And I absolutely acted entitled to his time, entitled to his energy. I thought he owed me everything. And it's a toxic pattern that I recognized in myself, and we broke up very abruptly at the beginning of the year. simply because the universe was like, time to go. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go. So I left, and I'm not happy with how we broke up, but we reconnected about a month ago. And the biggest accomplishment like of my life, beyond my degrees, beyond anything else, is the fact that I can finally go. I'm not entitled to his time, and be okay with that. If someone takes time, whether it's him or a friend or whoever, if they take a long time to email me back, text me back, they don't call me back, I'm very easily able to now go, okay.
Yeah.
Instead of automatically defaulting to, what did I do wrong? It's all about me. Maybe they don't love me anymore. Maybe they don't like me anymore. I'm able to go, that's a little weird. I hope they're doing well, but I'm sure they'll get back to me when they can. And if there is an issue with me, I trust and have healthy, very healthy relationships. They'll talk to me if it's something about me. I don't have to go chasing it down. They'll tell me that it's about me. But some girls, people don't do that. I didn't do that. It took me 30 years to get to this point. So many of my clients, this thing with that, my audience, what we're talking about right now, this will change your life. If you can master this, learning how to be patient and like validate other people's time,
it's so important.
It'll change everything.
It's so important. I've been I'm always that one. I'm like the mom friend. So like I don't know. I have my friends and I'm just motherly. I can't help it. It's how I am. So I'm the type of girl that I call my friends usually every day because I just want to know how they are. I want to know I don't know. I want to know how their day's going. And sometimes I have to realize that that's not always the best way. Like some people don't want to speak to their friends every day. And I've had to learn that. So actually one of my best friends, she's like, Kelley, we had to talk about it because it was a couple of years ago. We met in, I think 2018. And 2019, we were super close because we traveled for work. We were working at the bodybuilding shows together. And we were together all the time. So I just got so used to it. And then I literally had to be like, I think I'm being a little fucking invasive. And it was like innocently, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't me being like, give me your fucking time now, bitch. Like, you owe it to me. Like, it was nothing to do with like that. This is for people who don't realize it because it's like kind of an innocent thing in your mind. But you do have to give people their space and it's a whole thing. It's like you have to set those boundaries not only for those people but for yourself.
Yeah, because it's not always coming from a toxic, mine very frequently throughout my life has come from a toxic and controlling place. And I would be lying if I said I didn't know exactly what I was doing a lot of the time. Again, I will own it on a recorded call. I will own this.
All good, boo.
I will own this shit. Because I have awareness and I've worked through it. I've sat in that shit. I've smelled that shit. That shit's
you smell
all over me. And I'm good now.
Yes.
But those codependent, clingy vibes that you just, it can also come from just a very innocent, like you said, place of, I just really fucking love this person and I just want to be around them. I don't want to control them. I don't want to dictate their life. I'm not even necessarily afraid of losing them. I just really want to be around them all the time. And it can be hard, but when you really love someone, you want the best for them. And if they're clearly communicating to you that they want space, need space, are more of an introvert, they recharge better alone, you just have to respect that. That's why respect, I think, is the number one thing that friendships, any kind of relationship, romantic or otherwise, need to be founded on respect, mutual respect.
Hell yes. Especially for us extroverts, because sometimes we're a lot.
We're so much.
We're like, hey, how's it going? Do you want to be friends? Do you want to go on a trip? What do you want to do? Let's go. Introverts are like, oh my goodness.
And they're like, I just want to sit on the couch. And I'm like, but why? Why do you just want to sit on the couch? Let's go. Do something. I swing both ways though. I bat for both teams in that. So I can be a complete vegetable on the couch and be happy. But I have a very strong personality. So when in my mind, I'm like, I need to go out. I have to be around people. I have to do something. I will just people don't have a choice. I'm just like, let's go. This is such a good conversation. I'm having so much fun. So what else have you learned? Tell me in the last couple of minutes before we got to wrap up, what are the biggest things that you've learned about people pleasing, boundaries, relationships in your life?
People pleasing will get you nowhere. It will only ever appease people around you. You will never find content, or happiness. Like you won't find those emotions through people pleasing ever in your life. Boundaries are probably the most important thing you can do for yourself to honor yourself and your values and the people around you. Honestly, by respecting your boundaries, you're also respecting people around you. So I'm a firm believer in setting boundaries. I think it's very important. What was the third one?
Communication and relationships.
Oh, honey, if you can't communicate, you need to be alone. No, basically for me, just I think before you have any relationship, whether it be a friendship, relationship, marriage, whatever you want to call it, even a roommate, for God's sakes, if you haven't done your inner work, you haven't worked on yourself, you haven't worked through your shit, sat in your shit, sniffed your shit, washed that shit away.
Smeared it all over.
Literally, you got to smear that shit. I know it's nasty and I'm sorry if anyone has a weak stomach, but it's the facts. It is what it is. But if you haven't done any of that, no relationship you have will ever be successful. The relationship with yourself will not be successful. You will not be confident. You will not be good. You have to do these things for yourself in order to love yourself and to be true to yourself and to become successful. If you don't see any of these people who are successful that haven't done their inner work, you know what I mean? Like, they're working hard every day at owning their shit.
And the ones who haven't done their shit but are successful, quote unquote, that shit's a ticking time bomb.
That, or they're probably hiding in their basements doing fucking blow all weekend because they have no, they're probably turning to substance abuse, they're turning to porn or other addictions, guaranteed, because when you don't face your shit, you dive into other shit to avoid this responsibility you have to yourself.
The episode, by the way, I am going to call it Sitting in Your Own Shit with Kelley Caballero. That is what this episode is.
Love it. Sitting in that shit. Sorry, the girls at the event I just did, it was like so wild because I said that and everyone was like, yeah, fuck yeah. Everyone was like, woo! Like, yeah. I was like, well, that's it. Like, you have to sit in your shit and feel your shit. Like, you're never gonna get, there's that, what's that story of what movie is that from? I think it's from like Catch Me If You Can. And the dad is talking to Leo DiCaprio, right? About there's two mice that fall into like something about butter or I don't even, you know what? This was a bad thing to say because I don't even know how to say it properly. Anyways, long story short, one mouse died and one mouse literally churned the butter to be able to climb out, right? He was like, fuck, this is my shit. I gotta work through it. I'm just gonna work through it. And he got out. Sometimes life seems unbearable. It seems like you're never gonna get somewhere. There's no light at the end of the tunnel. But once you work on yourself, you are the light. Mm-hmm. You don't need to look anywhere else for a light.
Nope. You don't need to look outside of yourself for answers anymore. I see people so often get stuck, and age, gender doesn't matter. Everybody is susceptible to this. If you don't have trust in yourself and your own knowing that you have the answers, like you really do have the answers. You can get information outside of yourself, but your own intuition is what is going to be guiding you. Your own yes, no, lean forward, lean back, whatever. That's your trust with yourself. And if you're constantly looking outside of yourself for answers, waiting for validation from other people, waiting for people to tell you what to do, waiting for everyone, whether they know it or not, if someone is telling you what to do, they're projecting their own opinions, their own experiences, their own feelings, and their own intuition onto you. That's what 100%. They would do in the situation. That doesn't necessarily mean that's your answer. You have to sit in your own shit and learn, build that relationship with yourself and learn how to trust your intuition.
That's it. Pretty Legends is based off of that, right? So I would call it my motto, but it's don't just be pretty, be legendary. Mm-hmm. It's not just about what you like. We all can look like bad bitches. There's 80 million surgeons in the world if you want to look like a bad bitch. There's a gym if you want to do it that way. You know what I mean? Like there's a million things you can do. All the makeup artists, all the hair people, they can make you look like a bad bitch. But to me, what makes you a bad bitch is when you are sound mind and your inner shit is worked through. Because it don't matter. You could be that beautiful girl and you could have the best man in the world, but guess what? You haven't worked through that shit. He's going to be sick of your ass so fucking fast. You can't keep a man by your looks. You can't keep anything with your looks. That shit's going to fade eventually. Work on yourself.
The way you dress or the way you look might get you looked at when you walk in a room.
Doesn't get you seen.
But what's going to get you respected and paid attention to when you open your mouth is your energy. And the only way you can bring that kind of energy into a room is by being not full of yourself, comfortable with yourself, confident in yourself, knowing that you trust yourself. That makes you unshakable. And it's not about being cocky. It has nothing to do with that, because people act cocky all the time because they think, oh, I look this way, or I've got this degree, or I've got this money, or this.
None of that shit matters.
None of that makes you that you still have an Achilles heel and people can get to you. What makes you unbreakable is your relationship with yourself.
100%. And like, I just want to touch on something quickly. You just said, you know, when you walk into a room, people may look at you. And see, how I finish that is something my mom always told me. People may look at you, but who sees you, right? You're not going to be seen for who you are when you don't even know who you are.
Yep.
You can't represent yourself fully if you don't do your work and you don't know who you are. So it's so important.
Absolutely.
So anyone takes anything away from today is do your inner shit.
Do your inner shit. Don't be afraid to sit in it. It's just because it's all temporary. It's scary to look at.
Social media shit.
It's scary to look at it. And if you compare yourself to other people's journey, you're going to go, oh, they seem to have processed it so much faster. Oh, I haven't been through. How can I even say that my shit is shit because I don't have it as bad as other people. Like, stop. First of all, get off social media, stop reading books about other people's stories and start writing your book about your story, because your shit is valid.
That part. Yep. I 100% agree.
Like, by all means, Kelley's writing a book. I'm writing a book. Both of us will probably write many books in our careers because we're awesome and that's how we love to express ourselves. But don't look at her and don't look at me and go, oh, I don't have a story like them. So like,
everybody has a story.
You have a story.
Everybody has
a story. You have your own shit and your shit is valid. And if you, listener, were sitting here in this call with us, you would be a bad bitch right here with us. We would be hearing your story and respecting your story. I want you to start treating yourself like your shit is valid and start working through it.
Amen.
Just because it doesn't look like somebody else's shit, or there's not a book that you found that dictates exactly how to get through your shit and like your combination of circumstances is unique to you. So to a certain extent, you can hire a coach, you can read a book, you can take a course, you can listen to a podcast for inspiration. But at the end of the day, your journey is your own. Nobody can lead you through it. You're gonna have to do it yourself.
That part. I can't even add to that. You just
snap, boom.
snap, boom. We good.
And on that note,
I love it.
Kelley, tell the people where they can get in touch with you if they resonate with you, they want to follow you, read your book.
Yes. Okay, so my book, The Selfish Bitch Bible, will be out, right? Sorry, I love it. Will be out 2023. I'm doing a lot of promo events right now. You can find me on Instagram at Pretty Legends with an underscore at the end because they fucking with me. You could also check out my website, www.imkellycaballero.com. You can check Sarah's post for the spellings. I'm not going to do it for you. And yeah, I hope to catch some of y'all on the flip side. Sarah, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. But don't think you're going to get out of here without the question I ask everybody. I know we've said a lot of very powerful things. The universe has been fire giving us all the shit to say to the people today. But on the last note, what's one thing the universe is giving you right now in this moment? Tip, word of wisdom, phrase, something to say to somebody who's listening right now.
I got to be true to myself. Don't just be pretty, be legendary.
There you have it, people. There you have it. From the queen herself, Kelley Caballero. Kelley, thank you so much for joining us today. This has been so much fun.
you.
And to my listeners, thank you for tuning in to just a badass conversation with a couple of badass ladies. I will see y'all next week. Bye.